cast at a later date on YouTube. Listings of the matters on the agenda are those reasonably anticipated, which may be discussed at the meeting. And all items may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted. I am going to table the minutes. Robin, do we have any abatements?
We do.
Okay.
So we have a request for 37 Winter Circle. The gentleman came home and is outside.
Excuse me, Robin, 1 minute. Dan, I'll take a motion to open the meeting.
Second.
Okay, do I have a second? Yes, I second it.
Second,
All in
yes.
favor, Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
Mr. Hessian is a yes. The meeting will begin. Robin Sherry will not be joining us tonight.
Okay, sorry that I missed that non-opening. Okay, so
Okay, I'm sorry.
we have one abatement request for 37 Winter Circle. His outside spigot was leaking. He had it replaced. It's documented. I have the invoice from the plumbing company, and the water went outside. So if we look at his last 3 cyclical events, his consumption revised should be 2,300. His latest was actually 9,600. So the abatement would be in the amount of $434.38. And then that would bring his bill down to $146.09, which is in keeping with what he usually is at.
I have no problem with that. I'll make a motion. We accept the abatement for 37 Winter Circle.
Second.
All in favor, Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
And Mr. Hessian is a yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. New connections. With us tonight, we have Mr. Mark Hebert from representing Queen Anne's Plaza, I guess. And with that, I'm going to turn to.
Excuse me, can we do the drain layers?
I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
So we have a drain layer application from JF Excavation Corporation out of Revere. They are working on the Dyer Street project. And I believe, Chuck, that you called in the references for them.
Yes, I checked all 3 references. They are, Dan, this is, I want you to hear this one. The reference is checked out. One reference, Cambridge, had an issue of a couple of mounts checks. So Robin, is he paid yet?
He has. I didn't call the bank to see if that one would clear. I did call about the other check from the developer, and they said that would clear. So do you want to put in the motion to approve that it's pending the clearance of the payment?
I think that's wise this first time around. So I am going to put in a motion that we approve JF Excavation once we get proof that that the check is cleared. Dan, you want to second that, or do you got problems with that?
I can make the motion.
Okay, you're seconding.
Yeah.
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
And Mr. Hessian is a yes. That's not a problem with you, is it, Robin?
No, not at all. I'll just call and make sure it clears. And once it does, I'll issue him I need someone to sign it though.
Okay, would you want me down tomorrow morning or?
Can we do it next week? Because I'm out tomorrow.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Okay, if I'll be there first thing Monday morning.
All right, I'll see you then. Thank you.
Yep. What time you want me there Monday?
Whatever time works for you.
All right, I'll see you around 9:30.
Perfect.
Okay, now, Mark, you're on.
Well, good evening, everyone. I really appreciate you giving me a format to talk a little bit. My name is Mark Hebert. I'm Vice President of Development for Federal Realty, and our company owns the Queen Anne Plaza in Norwell. I manage properties and develop properties all over the Northeast, and my job is to add value to properties wherever possible. In the case of Queen Anne Plaza, it's a productive shopping center for us, albeit in the next town over from you, but it's also on septic. And of course, over time, maintaining a septic system on a property like this is quite expensive, and obviously has a life in maintaining its operational value. So my job is really to explore options and figure out what might be the best long-term solution for that property. And the planner from the town of Norwell suggested I might want to reach out to you to see if there might be an opportunity there for us to tie into your system, whether it has the capacity or not, or maybe long-term, it sounds like it may be something you're working on. And we don't have any immediate urgency to do something, but it might be mutually beneficial to us to work with you and maybe some other kind of property owners in that quarter to buy into some type of upgrade in your system. So just throwing that out there is to see if that's an opportunity, or if it's just not something you would entertain, or if you thought it might not be worthwhile. But I figure it's worth a quick conversation and see how you might react to something like that.
Sure, Mark, I have no problem with that. I want to make sure you're aware of a couple of things. One, we have or do you realize we have a moratorium on the new connections?
I'm pretty sure someone made me aware of that. Yes.
Okay, and we're also operating under a consent order from the EPA. We're real close to capacity. I mean, I would say we're over. EPA told us we're over capacity. We have a severe I&I problem, which when it rains, it constantly pushes us out. And right now we have about $800,000 on the board to go after some I&I. Right now, I couldn't give you a yes or no until you get some plans on board. I would not shut the door till we're done talking, till we have that definite figures on it. Right now, it's the likelihood of a short-term connection is almost nil. Again, but that's totally not up to me. But what would you be looking at for flows? Do you have any idea?
I actually, it's probably in the 15,000 gallons range. That would be my guess, but I'm not sure how flows are relative. So I'm talking about flows relative to Title V. So actuals, I think, are more like 8,000 gallons, something like that. So they're, less than double, right? But I can tell you what those flows might be at some point.
What I would do is
might be interested in entertaining this a little bit.
Yeah, what I would recommend is it never hurts to go through the exercise.
Yeah.
What we'd need to know is your actuals or your best guess estimate of flows.
Yep.
And as I said, right now, I would say no way. But who's to say a year or so down the road that could change? But.
Yeah, and that's where we are as well. I mean, we're not 5 days away. We're not a year away. I need to look down the road, 5 years down the road, right? And so if I'm going to invest in $1 million worth of a septic system or $2 million worth of a septic system on the property, disrupt all the tenants and all that, all that goes along with it, and still feel like I'm not protecting the environment around us to the extent we probably would like to. I'd rather invest it in a system that contributes towards your cause in the future as well. And so if you need to upgrade your system, we would be more than willing to pay our fair share and entice some other neighbors to do the same on that corridor. So I'm just trying to plant a seed. And if that is an opportunity long-term for you, great. If it's not, and you've got more than your hands full, I completely understand, and we'll keep kind of pursuing what we were pursuing before. But if it's an option long-term, love to talk to you about it as time progresses here.
No, and believe me, I am not by any means shutting the door on it. So if you could, I would continue going, get some numbers. Anytime you want to sit down and talk with me or anyone else, just, give me a call, give the department a call, and I'll be glad to sit down and talk with you. I know someone would.
Yeah. Well, that's great, Chuck. I really appreciate it. And I will, I'll get the information from Robin, and would love to sit down with you. I'll get some actuals. I know we have actuals because we monitor this all the time. And it's a system, obviously, it requires a lot of maintenance. So we have current figures.
Okay, but please make your partners aware that We are under a consent order. That consent order is posted on our website. And we are scrambling right now. You know,
Yep.
we're under some serious deadlines. But
So
yeah, it never hurts to continue talking. And by no means is the sewer commission shutting the door on you.
yeah, no, I appreciate that. Is the town exploring a significant upgrade in their system with the state? How's it? I guess back to my point is if we could make a contribution towards that cause, it might be worthwhile for everybody involved. So
What I'd like you to do is on our website,
Yep.
there is a report, the Wright Pierce report, that was an in-depth facility study. I mean, that's going to give you the facts and figures right there. We are also under right now preparing a comprehensive wastewater management plan, which would have, including that, a 5, 10-year, 30-year plan. The plant does need a very significant upgrade from soup to nuts. The estimate given by Wright Pierce pre-COVID was $50 million. Now that was pre-COVID. Our capacity is 2.5 million gallons a day. If I took I&I out of the equation, I'd say we're at pretty close to 1.8 million without I&I. But again, I'm just shooting numbers from past discussions with people. We are going to go very aggressively after I&I next year. And hopefully that, that has to continue. I&I is, something that never goes away. But what I was getting to in that plan, there is also, in the EPA wanted us to look at alternative options. So we are looking at, maybe connected to MWRA, maybe building an off-site facility. There are going to be ongoing discussions of that nature. So like I said, I'm not closing the door on you because of those talks. I mean, who knows where it's going to lead us?
sure.
But please keep us in the loop. And again, like I said, I'd be more than happy to sit down with you anytime you wish.
Yeah, and again, I really appreciate you guys giving me the time. And what I will say is vice versa. If you have any thoughts, Robin has, I believe, my contact information, but I'd love to kind of keep tabs with your progress and see what direction you might head in. But just kind of keep us in mind as well, and see if there's something we can do to help that cause. $50 million is a lot of money. But again, for me to spend $2 million on a septic system,
There's a lot of money.
to a treatment system, that's $2 million. It's a lot of money.
Yep.
And so maybe there's a way to.
Yeah, no, it's not like I said, we're looking at the alternative options, but on our website, there's a myriad of reports. Our EPA submissions are going to be on there. Like I said, it was a very good facility evaluation that Wright Pierce did. That will give you the real picture of where we are. Our comprehensive wastewater management plan should be up on that site by, I want to say, April of next year.
Okay.
So it's not that far away, but and any additional information you need, please reach out to me. I'll be glad to point you in the right direction.
That sounds great. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking my time and listening, and we'll keep in touch for sure.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much for reaching out to us.
All right. You guys have a great night. Take care.
You
Mark,
too.
before you hang up, do you mind sharing your phone number? I only have your email address.
Oh, sure. So my cell is the best way to reach me. It's 617-312-6500.
Six five zero zero. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right. You guys have a great day. Great night. Take
You
care.
too. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
We also have a new connection for request for Mr. Tom Butler. Is he on this evening? Oh, I see you, Mr. Butler. You're muted. There you
How
go.
about now?
You got you live.
All right, great. Yeah,
Why
we're
don't you tell us
looking
a little
to,
about what you want to do.
well, we're trying to get our ducks in a row here. I see that my client Kathy Hernan is on board here also. What we're trying to do, we found out from the building inspector after visiting him 3 different times from like July on about this moratorium. We had no idea. I live in Carver. Kathy, of course, is a resident in Rockland. And I went to the water department. They're saying that, the moratorium, there's no hookups. We understand that, but we're just trying to get our ducks in a row right now.
What are you looking to do is what?
We're looking to add an in-law apartment to a house at 107 Myrtle Street. Well, I shouldn't say
Our, you'd be tying into existing sewer, correct?
existing, correct.
All right, well, our moratorium is really does not pertinent to that. It's for like 4 units or more.
Okay,
As far as your hookups, you'd have to comply with the Rockland sewer ordinance, all the requirements of that. Water, I can't answer, I can't, say anything for water, but as far as the sewer for an in-law apartment, that does not fall under the moratorium.
okay, that's fantastic.
Do you mind if I ask a question, Chuck?
No, go right ahead, Robin.
So the in-law, is that going to change the footprint of the existing building, or are you going up?
No, it is going to change the footprint. We're going back right directly behind the house.
You will not be going over any existing piping, any laterals?
Well, we did have a question about that also. I had given Robin some paperwork that my client Kathy had gotten from, I would imagine, Robin, about where the connections come out of the house and where they come down the driveway and connecting to the street. There is one that comes out of the back of the house that we're going to try, and we're actually moving a portion of the addition back a little bit so we don't hit that line. And that's the one we want to try and tie into. I had given Robin a very basic drawing of what we're trying to do. And on it, I showed where it comes out underneath the kitchen.
Can you put that drawing up on the screen?
Well, we'll see. I'm not very computer savvy. But can you see that, or?
No, I'll tell you what I'll do. Why don't we do this? Is this something you need an immediate answer on, or can we schedule you for, you could submit a drawing to Robin, we could put it up on the screen for our next meeting and talk about it then?
Can I make a suggestion, Chuck?
Sure.
I think it might be better served if he came to the working session, because we have 2 as-bills in our file for that home. One of them might have been an adjustment after the original, and they kind of don't really sync up. So I think everyone would be better served if you could look at the drawings together.
Yep.
And maybe go out and actually mark it out.
I agree with you
So
there.
we're not going over the lateral.
I agree with you. So I'll tell you what, our next working session is going to be November 29th at 1 o'clock.
Okay,
That's a Tuesday.
okay. I can do
Tuesday
that.
afternoon at 1 o'clock. That's the week after next. Next week's a lost cause with the holiday.
Yeah, it's not
If
a
you
problem.
make
for me.
that, if you could get me 3 copies of your drawing,
Okay,
between now and then, I'll get down and look at the what we have on file, but we could lay everything out on the table with the other commissioners there. We could take a look at it and see what the best option is.
okay. Sounds good
Is
to me.
that meeting in person or is that also virtual?
No, that will be in person,
Okay.
and that'll be at the Rockland Sewer Plant. Are you both familiar with that is?
Yeah, it's on Summer Street.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, it was that, I went down, it's been a few weeks now, and I met Robin there. And I
As a
talked
matter
about
of fact, I have your drawing, and I could make those 3 copies if nothing's changed, so you don't have to be inconvenienced. Is that
Yeah,
okay?
at the moment,
Oh, that'd be
nothing's
great.
changed.
All right.
Everything's the same.
Robin,
Like I
could you
said,
get those
yeah.
out for us to take a look at?
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah, no rush because for the holiday, but no, why don't we do that? 1 o'clock, you'll probably be on, I could probably get you in right away because we were just gonna go over some ideas of what we want to set up for working sessions in the future. So why don't you come down 1 o'clock, Tuesday the 29th?
Okay. Sounds fine with me.
And all I see is Kathy H. Miss
Yeah,
Kathy
that's
H. I don't know
the
your last name, so
No, it's Hernan, Hernon.
excuse me. Are you John's?
I am. I'm John's wife. Yes. Yep.
Probably met you at many a baseball.
I have, it's funny because as I'm looking at you, I'm going, I think I know him.
Oh,
Yeah.
John and I had a great time coaching.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. He loved coaching. He loved it.
He did.
Yep.
Okay, then I'll tell you what, I will see you the 29th,
Okay, that sounds great.
1:00.
All right, we'll see you
All
there.
right, thank you, Kathy.
Appreciate your time. Bye-bye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
What do I do with that now? There it is.
So we skipped the administrative assistant weekly update.
Yes, no, we could do that now if we can add that on.
All right, thank
What
you.
happened, Robin, is I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't print my agenda from the town website. So I didn't have that on mine. So if you want to go into yours right now.
Okay, thank you. Just rearrange. Okay, so I sent all of you the intermunicipal agreement with Abington.
Yep.
From 1983, the letter from 2004, the 2007 draft. I also sent you the invoices that we've billed Abington and the flow reports from Rick at Veolia.
When did you send them out? I didn't see those.
I sent them out today before I left the office.
Okay, so they're probably in there now. Okay.
Yep, so it's all in one email because I thought it would be easier for you to access them all together.
Sure.
But I just wanted to clarify the way that came about is we got a public records request from an engineer, and he was saying he's in possession of the agreement for wastewater treatment between Rockland and Abington dated 1983, which is expired. We are requesting that you provide us with a copy of the most recent IMA between Rockland and Abington. So I had a conversation with Liza about that, and she reached out to Doug and eventually legal. So that's how the whole request started.
Yeah,
Wasn't sure.
because I was totally taken back by that because I remember I got the email that I had spoken with Chris Kenny about trying to renegotiate that. He says, "No, we can't touch that. There's an agreement in place." So it even got by them. I mean,
Well, Biz and David had a minute with it. Keith had a minute with it. But it never got off the ground with everybody changing positions.
well,
I'm not sure about the language of it, if it actually expires. I'm not sure how it reads. If
I don't know. It's going back to 2007. I gotta look back.
well, there was a draft in 2007 that never got executed. So everybody now has all of the information all in one place, because when I responded to everyone.
Okay.
I just thought you might be in the dark about how it started, so I thought I'd just.
Oh, thank you. Because we were. I was shocked, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So we get public records requests all the time for all kinds of things, but that one just got a little bigger than what it started out as.
Okay, no problem. Did you forward all that information to council?
Yep, everyone who was on the email got it.
Okay.
So,
So I don't have to do anything with that. Okay. I'll wait to hear from them. We can, we're gonna take a look at it, and I guess they want to schedule a meeting to talk about it, so we'll take that from there.
all right. So I have an email here from Rick on the sewage notification grant program, questions and bidders conference this Wednesday. So I'm not sure if that's Wednesday, November 16th, but oh, yeah, it is. It's from Rick, and he's saying that maybe the effluent meter could be covered under this grant. So did I forward that to you? I'm not sure.
Like I said, I haven't looked, so I can't tell you now where I am. I could probably check my phone. Nope.
All right, so
I have one from Dwight. No, I have nothing from you today.
all right, so let me make a note to forward that to the commission.
Yeah, and I don't even have the, oh, you might have sent it to, Edge office.
I actually don't think I sent it to anyone because I got it from Rick and I wasn't sure how you wanted to proceed, but Rick can probably speak to it.
Yeah, Rick, you got a few seconds?
Sure. So it was a Zoom call literally yesterday, I believe it was Wednesday. And so the DEP's got some money out there, and it was all about, this notification program. And on the call were probably mostly municipal managers that were on the call throughout the state of Massachusetts. And they had a list. Like I said, it's an application that's got to be filled out. Then you submit your invoices. My suggestion to the board, Chuck, would be to have Wright Pierce look at it, because we only have 14 days. November 30th, which with the holiday next week, it's going to come really quick. But after the conversation and watching and everything, it almost, I would say 99% sure that the effluent flow meter that they recently installed would be covered under this grant. We just need somebody like an engineering guy to, a company to kind of fill out the application, submit the invoices, and then they're going to review them all. And it was quite a substantial amount of money.
Let me ask you a question. Who was involved with the effluent meter for an engineering company? Do you have anyone involved in that, or?
No, we kind of did that in-house.
Okay, you know what to do? You have Kevin Olson's.
Yep.
What I would like you to do is put that in the email to Kevin Olson,
Okay,
CC the board members, but I also want you to CC Jennifer Constable.
okay.
So she's online with what we're looking at, and if you have any paperwork, associated with that,
Yep. There's a link.
attach that as well.
Yeah, I have the original email, so I can forward that to everyone.
Yeah, so send that to the commissioners,
Okay,
Kevin Olson. Kevin, I would get to him if you can tomorrow morning,
I will. I'll get it.
and CC Jennifer Constable on that as well.
Okay, sounds good.
She knows where we're heading. But that's a great idea, though. We get that covered.
Yeah, because we've spent,
Is that up and
I
running?
mean, we spent basically, I don't know exactly. It's probably I don't know, $6,000-7,000.
Oh, hey, every penny helps at this point. All
Absolutely.
right, thanks, Rick.
All right, so the next thing is, I have Dyer Street in here. The latest is they paid in full. I didn't know if you were aware of that, but they paid in full. I called the bank, it should clear. I know earlier we spoke about the drain layers license, so we'll wait and see if that clears. But that's basically where we are with Dyer Street. All right, and then I kept track of all of the ARPA documentation that's been going back between Jennifer Constable and Sherry, but Sherry's not here, so I'm just going to pass on that.
Okay, thank you.
The Rockland rink sign off.
Yep, tell me what you want to know on that.
All right, so I'm not sure where we're at that. Are we signing off on that project, or are we holding them?
Okay, what I was told, because I wanted to make sure that we're covered, and I talked to Bob Galvin, and Bob Galvin is going to handle that. So right now, as far as sewer, we're on hold till we hear from him. The builder, I believe it's the builder, not the owner, the builder called me again today around 3 o'clock, and I put him in touch directly with Bob Galvin. I gave him Bob's number. I called Bob and said he'd call. Bob said he'd give me a call back tomorrow. So right now that's in Bob's hands.
Okay. All right, the next thing. Oh, I was going to talk about the remediation matrix and the build outs, because I've had some requests from Sherry, but again, she's not here, so we'll hold off.
Yeah, table that, please.
All right. And then the IPP permit and audit. So, and it's too bad Sherry's not here, because I know she was interested in this. David Taylor received a correspondence from Justin. I can't think of the last name, but he's the one that did the IPP audit.
Mhm.
Oh, Justin Pimpere. Anyway, he said just a couple of recommendations. I'll read it to you. Please see the attached EPA audit report. There are only a few recommendations at this time. Please feel free to reach out with any questions. Basically, at some point, we need to add those dental offices that I had mentioned. So we need someone to go there and run the inspections representing the town and get them into the program. And we also have that car wash. And then pending is Monahan Rink is installing a restaurant. They already have a grease trap, so we're gonna have to pull them into the IPP program as well. So I don't know how all that gets handled, because most of them were set up when John Laughlin was here. And the only one that was set up after that was Wendy's. And that didn't go off so well, and we really only modeled it after the Burger King that was existing in town.
All right, well, when I come down, I'll tell you what, I don't know how your Mondays go. Why don't you give me a call when you're free Monday, and you and I can sit down and go over it and figure where we're gonna go from there.
Yeah,
But if you could send me any of the information when I say that, I mean, is bring me up to speed on Wendy's. If you could send me any paperwork you got from Josh or what was it?
Justin,
Justin, yeah.
all right. I just misplaced my pen. Wait a second.
It's
Rob.
okay. I stole yours yesterday.
Hey, Robin,
Yeah,
could I be CC'd on that too?
Yes, oh, I'm sorry, Rick. Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the final report.
No, Rick, I'm very sorry. You should be.
No.
it's really, I just got it, and I just wanted to bring it up at the meeting before I distribute it, so it wouldn't go out blind, blind.
Yep.
It's just a couple pages. I mean, we knew that we did well. The recommendations are one. The new NIPD's permit unfortunately did not contain the industrial pretreatment program requirements under the 40 CFR 403. So once he said that, I realized where the regulations were for the IPP program, so I printed that out as well. But he's saying regardless, EPA strongly encourages the town to maintain all aspects of the IPP program as it has done for many years. EPA understands the town does not have any significant industrial uses discharging into its system, so the oversight activities should be minimal. And then the second recommendation is please note that current language in the NIPD's permit requires the town to monitor annually any industries falling within a specific sector for PFAS. The town should review the permit language to determine if there are any industrial uses within any of those industrial sectors. So I was thinking that Rick, you might be able to help out on that, reading those reports.
Yep, so a real quick note on that. The town, I'm gonna say roughly 3 months, probably 4, where we will be superseding the EPA to the Mass General Permit. And in the Mass General Permit, everything you just spoke about is in it now. IPP's in it, so we can definitely get a good handle on this.
Okay, so my concern, I'm glad that you said that, because my concern is, we have the 3 different types of permits and we have like 11 pages of criteria. I wouldn't know what criteria is changing based on that new NIPD's.
Okay,
It's like speaking French to me.
yeah,
I'll tell you what, Rick, why don't you tell me if you're free at all next week, or we can do it the week after.
okay,
I know you had your hands full today, so.
right, yep,
Yeah, it would be better if we could all sit down together.
Yeah, we'll do that.
sounds good.
Rick, I'll let you coordinate that. How's that? Take that off for Robin. You let us know when you're ready.
Okay,
And you tell Robin and I'll be there.
All right, so the next thing is 513. So I got a permit approval request they do them online now from the building department. So 513 West Water, they put an addition on their home a few years ago without pulling a permit, and Tom Rubel found out just by driving around. So they're currently doing some work on that project, and they want us to approve it. It doesn't really have too much to do with it. It would be an easy approval, except that previous work that they did, it was a 2-story addition, and I don't know if they went over the lateral.
I went down and took a look at it, Robin. Until I can get down there with Gary with the prints, I think they did.
You think they went over the lateral? I mean, I don't even know what's the next course of action if they did, because if they have a problem down the road,
They own
lateral's
it.
under their addition.
Yep, they own it. Is Gary back tomorrow, Rick?
yes, he is.
Unless there's a way for them to cut out circumvent what they did and go outside of, you know what I mean? Like shut down the sewer and reroute it.
Well, what I have to do is I've got to get a contact to them and ask if we can come in to take a look at it. Because like I said, at first I want to look at it with the prints. My feeling is they did go over the lateral from what I'm looking at. But it would be hard not to have that addition. So why don't I get a hold of Gary tomorrow? Have Gary get a hold of me after, say, after 10 o'clock. And we could look at the print and go over and at least look at it together and see if we can knock on the door and make arrangements to get in and visit them.
Are you asking me to tell Gary or
No,
Rick?
I'm asking Rick, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that works. Gary's actually, he's gonna be
Got a
working.
funeral.
Yeah, so, yeah, 10 o'clock would work.
10 o'clock tomorrow?
Yep.
So that brings me to another point. I don't know if I printed a copy of it. So the building department reached out because they wanted to know, I don't think I printed a copy of it. They wanted to know what types of building permits that they needed to reach out to us. And there were 3 criteria. One was if the footprint changes because of this issue, if they go over the lateral, if they convert from anything, if they convert into a 3-family, is it a 3-family or 4-family?
4-family.
If they convert an existing building into 4 or more units.
Right.
And then I can't recall the third
The
criteria.
other one is if they add a bathroom.
I don't know if that was it.
Wasn't it? Because I know he had a question on that. John called me on that and I thought you'd be out today, but so I didn't call you. I think it was about adding a bathroom. He said if it doesn't add a bathroom, you need to be notified. I said the only thing we would need to notify is if the building went over existing sewer.
Oh, no, right. We don't need to know about the bathroom, but we need to know about new construction.
Yes.
See, because if they're tying into their existing, if they're already tied into the stub and they add a bathroom, that doesn't impact us really.
Right.
There's
No,
no fee for that or anything, so.
you're right. That's what the question was. All right. So what I got to do is I got to get a hold of him and clarify that.
Yeah, because then they'll be waiting on us to approve permits. Really don't need to be held up.
I'll send John an email tonight.
Okay, so now 59 Spring Street is the address. That is the location where they tore the house down. We spoke about this at one of our.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that property was going to lien and it had been taken over by the town. So with a little research, because we wanted to get the lien paid on the sewer.
Mhm.
With a little research, we're just not updated our records yet, but it actually went back to the previous owner. He was able to retrieve it back. So he owns the property again. So once we lien it, it'll be liened on the property. He'll be responsible for it. So I don't have to take any other action.
Great.
We're just waiting for it all to get updated in the system.
Okay.
So Merrill Engineers called Deb Keller. There's a 2-family home on Carey Street and they wanted to get on the wait list, but I believe that you told them they're not subject to the moratorium.
Right. If it's for more than 4, yeah, to 2-family, he wouldn't be involved in that. He's not.
All right. Do you need him to come to a future meeting?
Yes, I still would like him to come to a future meeting.
Okay, then I'll take care of that. Desktop for Veolia. So we had a meeting with Gino a while back. There's a computer that Veolia uses for their reporting, and it was kind of getting on its last leg. And they worked with Gino to purchase a new computer because they use it for reporting to report back to us. Interrupt me, Rick, if I'm screwing anything up. But anyway, that's in the works. Gino will be supplying them with a computer. They'll pay the invoice for it. He'll set it up. He's going to give them a Word package on there so that it'll be helpful for them to do the monthly reporting, because right now they're doing a lot of the calcs manually because that computer is just so far gone.
That's above and beyond the iPad, correct?
Yes, it's separate. It's a desktop unit.
Okay,
So just to interrupt, Chuck, and let you know, it's a town computer that we, as under Veolia, we have the contract that we have to run your maintenance program on it.
Uh-huh.
And the computer itself is over 10 years old. It's very slow. So we've talked to the manufacturer of the, it's called JobCal Plus. So we asked him if we were to get a new computer, would they assist us in taking all the old data and put it on the new computer? And they said that they would. We actually have a agreement with them anyways, an annual agreement. So my thing to Gino and to the board was, we just need to replace that computer.
did Gino or did Robin inform you on the iPad for the markouts and all that?
Yes, I believe we're gonna see something. Gino was at the other day, and I think we're gonna see something right after the holidays.
Oh, good, okay.
So
Sorry.
that's going on. And the next thing was the GIS iPad setup. So that's in the works. And then I have, okay, so the shingle mill project. Remember we sent a correspondence to the ZBA asking for them to do a recap?
Yep.
of that. Okay. Well, on the day that they were having their shingle mill meeting at the ZBA, we got an email in the Rockland account at the 3:58 p.m. with the Zoom information, which I had already left the office. So I'm hoping that you knew that that meeting was taking place and maybe you participated.
I didn't participate, I watched it.
Oh, okay. So sorry about that. I probably should have let her know what the hours are at the sewer department ahead of time, but I didn't, so I apologize.
Okay, just so you know, Robin, that was continued to February again.
Oh.
It's still going on about that zone A.
And are they going to provide an answer to your correspondence?
Like I said, I didn't participate. I got on the meeting after it was well in progress. I didn't get on till 7. And they were wrapped up in that zone A.
Okay,
And I know nothing came about, nothing was finalized. So I think really everything is in Pat Brennan's hands at this point.
all right. And then the last thing that I have is that IPP application for ITW Polymer changing over. They haven't responded yet, but like I said, that does take a while.
Can I ask you one question to add on to that? What about the assistant we talked about for you? Did anything come of that?
I'm not aware of anything coming of that yet.
Did Stacy send you a job description for you to mark up?
She did. And you know what? Now that you say that, she did. And her and I spoke about it, and I'm not sure if I returned it to her. So let me make a note of that.
All right, do you want me to put that? I'm gonna put that on for the 29th as well. To discuss that at the working session.
All right. So what's happening? So I needed the part-time person for the department for the receipts. Just so we can stay on top of the receipts. It's, a lot of work and the separation of duties, but lately I've really been struggling with having no superintendent, because even though I'm documenting this and bringing it to the board, even that takes time. It's not the same as if a superintendent were there to answer resident questions, to do follow-ups, to go out in the street with them, check when they call and have an issue, pull a street map, answer questions from engineers, like some of these people that came before the board. Those things are taking up time. Even the public records requests sometimes, all of those things are taking away from me getting the basic work of the position done. So I'm getting a little bit behind. Everything is reconciled, but I'm just seeing that I'm slipping a little bit behind on things. I'm trying to do the best that I can to keep up. And I haven't done any overtime the last couple weeks. That does help keep it at bay. But I just want to let you guys know that I am getting a little bit behind.
Oh, and like I said, that's why I asked you about that job description, and I wanted on the 29th. I'd like to help get that through.
Yeah. I appreciate that. And that's all I had for tonight.
Where are we now? Old business, the only project manager update. Here, and I'm gonna combine that with the EPA update. We've had several working sessions. When I say we, myself, John Ayotte, Paul Rodman, Rick, to banter about the little things on the EPA submission. When I say little, the data, how we want to do that. And we didn't want to tie it up in an open meeting because it just would have, because there was no focus. It just had to be a discussion and let it flow. We have the final draft. We saw it today. John presented it to us. And it's in great format. What we wanted to do is to set this up, not just for now, but for the future. The EPA gave us conditions and they went down the line with it, and that's how we set up the November submittal. So future submittals, this one took a little longer because we had to compile everything for once. Everything after this, it's going to be plug and play. We just plug it into the different sections. I thought John Ayotte Violi did an exceptional job on it. We had several meetings with not just Violi or myself and the board, but we also brought in all the vendors who were working on different aspects of this report. So everyone, no one was out in the dark in this. Everything that's in that report came from the horse's mouth, if you would. So everyone knew what the other was working on. There's no guesswork in this. He presented the final submission to us today that we are prepared to vote on. Sherry's not here, and in talking to her today, she did not have any problems with it. So with that, I am going to call for a vote that we approve the November submission that was given to us today. Once we approve that, we have to sign off on it tomorrow. I will put it in a zip drive to the attorneys for their blessing, and they will do the final submittal. So with that, all you board members that are here, I'd like to have a motion to approve the November submittal to the EPA as presented to us today by Veolia.
I make the motion.
And I will second that. All in favor, Mr.
Aye.
Gross?
Yes.
And Mr. Hessian is a yes. I am not going to ask for Ms. Valley's, but two out of three is a majority. What I'm going to ask, Dan, is if you could get down there, we have to be separated because, the open meeting law. I'm going to have the sign off page on the conference room table tomorrow morning. Robin won't be there. I'll sign it. You can sign it. And if Sherry can, she can sign it. If not, she'll sign it Monday. But when she signs it, I'll forward that to John. He'll put that in a formal document. And we'll submit that to Clifford and Kenny for a submittal to the EPA. But this is a public meeting and there's not a lot of the public on it. But what I want to do is I want to thank Rick for a lot of the stuff he put. A lot of it was a lot of his effort and Megan's efforts that went into the hardcore data of that. As far as the board, all we had to do was pull together working contracts and figure out when we were going to issue and the sequence of doing it. But Rick, I do want to thank you for all the effort you and Meg and Veolia put into that. I think the document is a work of art.
You're very welcome.
Okay, so I'll have that down there for you tomorrow, Dan, if you can get down there and sign it. Sherry, like I said, I don't know what's up with that. Now, the Weston Sampson I&I bid preparation contract. Now, what that contract is the bid package to go out for again, bidding to go after the I&I work. The bid was posted November 13th or November 16th, 13th. Oh, excuse me, it was posted November 16th on all the various media where it's going on the town website, and in other publications. The bids are due December 13th. Let me double check that, so I'm not giving out wrong information. Don't, excuse me, the bids are due December 16th, which is a Friday at 2 o'clock, at which time they're going to be opened up at a public meeting that's going to be held at Town Hall in the upstairs conference room at 2 o'clock. We'll put out further information on that.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Sorry, when you sign off on the paperwork on the conference room table, the submittal to the EPA,
Mhm.
can you scan it on the, so we can have a copy on our
Oh,
hard
I'm
drive?
going to, what we're gonna do is the sign-off page of the transmission note. We gotta sign, then I gotta send that into to John to incorporate it into document. And I've already given him the list. You're on it. To the department, Dan, Sherry, myself, Clifford and Kenny, Doug. I had a bunch of Michael Laughlin.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we have a copy in the sewer files of
Yep.
things.
Oh, you will. And the other thing, like, I don't know if you saw it in your email today because you weren't in. I don't know if you checked it home. Veolia sent a couple month ends. You were wondering about September. I received October's and I asked them to send you clean invoices.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so that's that on the submittal, the EPA submittal. We are beating that. That's the date. It was due November 30th. A lot of effort went into this. Let me tell you, a lot of effort and a lot of hours. And like I said, I appreciate the help from everyone that was involved. And that's not just Veolia. There was Wright Pierce, Weston Sampson, environmental partners. And I know I'm going to miss someone, but a lot of effort went into it. And they were great to work with. Superintendent interview update. I spoke with Stacy last week before. She was going to try advertising a couple other media outlets, and nothing more on that. Working session updates. I was going to leave that to Sherry, but I'm going to add my 2 cents. I think, and I'm going to give kudos to Dan and Sherry. What people don't realize how much they're breaking their butts on this when they're superintendent. We seem to have a decent handle on what's out there. What Robin alluded to is the day-to-day stuff that's tough to keep up with. And, hopefully we can get by on that. And, till we get someone in there. I'm going to table the accounting update because that's Sherry's forte. New business for the December meeting. I think the only thing would be the EPA update on that. And I think what I'm going to add to that, the working session we're going to have on the 29th. We've been focused really in getting this the November 30th submittal done. What we want to do now is prioritize our next items to tackle. And I think we're all in agreement. The fee structure is number one for development and I work. So if anyone else has any other input that they'd like to see us tackle, please put it on, because we have the fees, the ordinance update, and the bylaw. What do you call it, the bylaw? The sewer ordinance. That's got to go to a town meeting to be voted on for a couple of matters on there, one being the grinder. So we're going to be working on that as well.
I actually have something that I would like.
Sure.
So the last time that we had a sewer rate increase was last January.
Yep.
And I feel like I got a lot of phone calls from people who were upset about it because it was a large increase because we hadn't raised it. We raised it in 2016 and then 2019 and then 2021. Each time we were still kind of behind the 8 ball because a lot of thought hadn't gone into that. We didn't have a professional rate study. So now we do, but it's not going to be ready until the spring. So any input from that, we probably won't raise the rate until the fiscal year. And I feel like if we don't at least revisit it now, I don't know what you will think as an increase, but we should probably check our bottom line and see where we need to be. And that way we can give smaller rate increases instead of waiting until we're, under the gun again and then walloping people with a big increase.
Well, we're a little bit ahead of you on that because I've spoken to Weston Sampson on that to help us out with that. And that's that's why that was number one on the things to tackle next. I think there is going to be some serious discussion about one in the interim before that rate study is done. But I want to get their input as well on that.
Okay, so last year, the interim rate increase happened on January 1st. Just, typically they take place on the new fiscal year, so it was 6 months off, but I don't know how you feel about, in midstream.
Well,
Right.
we got to
Because
do
we built
something, and
quarterly.
I want to see where we are, and that's going to also involve Scott Curtis.
So we bill people quarterly, so it would either be, January, February, March, January, April, or July.
I personally, I'd like to look at April, to be honest with you.
All right.
Robin, Chuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, real quick. I think it would be a good idea to wait until usually the CPI will be coming out. I want to say like the second week of January. And when that number comes out, that's typically the number that I will give the superintendent. And that'll kind of tell us like where even Veolia is as far as the increase for next fiscal year. So I think if you wait until January, we'll have a good number, which would actually help you on your rate study.
Well, those numbers, that conversation is going to be taking place. If we do anything, it'd be the soonest I see it being done is April.
Okay.
So we'll have all the information we need, but that's one of the things that I know Sherry is key on. So she wanted that number one on the list. So we will be talking about that quite busily, actively.
Okay.
I can see that just being just as intense as the submittal was.
That's a good suggestion, though, to reference the CPI. Because
So it's a real good indicator.
Okay, Rick, so you're on now. October monthly report. I see you stole home plate again to keep us under the limit.
Yeah, so October was 2.481, which rounds up, so it was actually 2.5 MGD.
No, we were 2.48.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good number. Rain for the month was 6.57 inches, so we had quite a bit of rain for the month of October, as we all can recall. Let's see, NIPD's phosphorus update. So, like I said last meeting, we just finished the study. The 7-month study ended on October 31st. I received all the phosphorus numbers literally the 14th of this month. I'm happy to say that we met the 0.1. So the next thing that the board will be seeing, there'll be an invoice that Veolia will be submitting. I'm going to say back in the spring, David Taylor, when he did his budget, he estimated, we sat down, we really didn't know what number to throw out there. He threw a number of $35,000 for this fiscal year to cover the study. And it actually came in at $36,191.92. So it's pretty
Those discussions.
Yeah, really close. So you'll be seeing that invoice probably next month. After that, the technical team with Veolia is working on the final report. I'm hoping we'll see that in December.
I'm gonna hold you there for a minute.
Yep.
That final report, what I'm looking for would be a decision on a tertiary system or chemical treatment.
Correct. It'll have everything in it, and then that report is actually due to the Mass DEP and EPA. I believe it's on by January 31st. So we're really good as far as our timing goes right now.
Will we see a draft of it beforehand to discuss?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So like I said, we've already been talking about it. We just had to hold off on it till I get all the results.
Right.
So
Now, while you're on phosphorus, my big concern is the sludge. How you making out with that?
Sludge is okay. I mean, you know, the biggest increase, you know, on this study was the chemicals. I mean, just the chemicals alone, was well over, it was like 22,000 just on chemicals. So it, you know, again, it worked. Chemical addition did work to get us down to the 0.1. But the big thing is, and you know, Veolia will be backing me on this. It worked okay as long as the flow, we met our flow 2.5. What happens next April and, you know, we get a lot of rain and we're at 4.0? Then at that point, all bets are off. This is why the actual final report to the board will be highly stressed that the town looks into tertiary system.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
I think you, me, and Ed have had that discussion several times.
Right.
The chemicals, you know, for people out there who don't, as Rich has said, it's a crapshoot. And the downside to that, it generates a lot of sludge, and that with sludge is cost and
Correct.
availability of sites to take it. I mean, they did a great job maintaining, but I don't think it's a long-term solution. I don't think any of us thought it would be a long-term solution.
No. And the reason we did this was because the EPA required the town to do it in the new NIPD's permit. Let's see, repair and maintenance projects. Pretty much right now, everything's just getting older. The point, we've had this discussion numerous times. Matter of fact, today we had our belt press went down trying to get a VFD for it. And so
The filter press?
yeah, the filter press. We were talking to our electrician who was on vacation in Florida, and he had another electrician in here, and we chased it down. We finally got it up and running. To get a new VFD, 20 weeks. I mean, so I ended up going on eBay, and this is where we're at. And this is why I like the public to know that the plant is old. I actually found one on eBay. Again, it's what we have to do. We have to keep this thing running. I mean, the belt filter press is so critical. If we had to go out, like you discussed before, Chuck, the cost of getting rid of the sludge is extremely expensive. If we had to go out liquid, if that belt filter press goes down, it'd be 4 times the cost of what we're paying right now. 4 times. And at the same point, I don't even have a home for it. So now I have to get a schedule. We'd have to get into another contract, with a wastewater facility that would take liquid. So again, things are getting old at the plant. We were able to wiggle our way out of this one today, and I'm going to have a backup VFD on Monday morning.
While you're on the maintenance issue, this is one of the things I wanted to discuss with you and the board tonight. As Rick said, and it's like the Right Pierce report had stated back in 2020, this place is old. Well, that report was 2020. It's now 2 years further, and we're starting to see things go quicker and more often. And what I want to do is I want to prepare a presentation to the Board of Selectmen sometime in December to update them on. And the reason I want to do that is the town is talking about a new fire station. And I'm not trying to derail the fire station. I don't want anybody to think that it's not. But what I want to do is I want to give the voters a real picture of, it's not just the fire station Rockland needs. This plant needs it. The water plant needs help. But I want to make sure that they're up to current speed on, where the sewer plant really is. I see it getting worse next year. I see more problems, especially the way we're throwing ferric into that phosphorus right now. I'm extremely worried about those tanks out back. So Rick, what I'm probably going to do is be sitting down with you and say, okay, let's put a real list of what has gone broken just in the past 6 months, and say, and try to project what we see. Again, not to scare them, but to be realistic.
Right.
To keep this plant not in the back burner, at the forefront. It has to be addressed. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. And, to follow that up, we have one of our effluent pumps. That's the pump that basically pumps the water out of the system and into the stream. We lost one of those about 2 weeks ago, and I'm waiting for parts again, and that's going to be getting rebuilt. I mean, that probably be around 10 grand all total. The next item, and just speaking of what you were just talking about, Chuck, is the generator replacement. So as you know, we have a rental generator at the facility right now. In case there's a backup or loss of power, we won't back up the town. Prior to 2 weeks ago, we had that possibility. It was a real fact. The bad news is, so we took out that we need this water pump, and I've talked to them in the past, and it's like $15,000 if you can find one. We can't find one. We took it all the way to Western Mass. They tried to rebuild it, the current one that's in it. They have it. They can't even get it apart. Everything is frozen up on it. They just want it. They want to give it back to us. They don't even want to take the liability because they know they're going to crack it. So with that being said, we're back to square one on this generator. And so right now, Veolia gave the town an excellent price. And as you know, Chuck, Veolia has a lot of buying power, very big. I mean, the biggest operating company now in the United States. And we were able to secure for the town of Rockland, the Sunbelt rentals. So right now we're paying about $9,300 a month. The next closest bid was $17,000 a month. So with that being said, we're looking at about $9,300 a month until, we get a generator. I mean, we're at the point right now. I know I gave you a bid spec. There's, like I said, I know we can wait till May, and then try to put it on an article and then, get the money in July. But again, that's $9,300, per month for the next, December.
Well, I think you and I spoke, that is the #1 priority for the plant the next fiscal year, right?
It is.
All right, I'll take that bid spec. What we're gonna have to do, I spoke with Doug. It has to go out to bid.
Correct.
So we'll send that out to bid. I can have that done for you the week after Thanksgiving. Give it to Doug, have him put it out to bid and see what we come back with prices and write the article for it.
Yep, I agree.
And if Veolia can front the money, I don't think
It's just,
this is gonna be we don't have a choice but purchase.
no, I thought we could wait till May,
So what are we gonna do in the meantime? Are we gonna try to? Are they gonna try to repair that, crack it, or is it?
They're at the point right
They
now.
don't want to touch it.
Yeah, they're at the point right now. They're saying it can't be repaired. So they're looking, so everyone else is looking right now. I mean, we're looking anywhere in, maybe there's an old place that has, that has one of these generators. And that's where we're at right now, just trying to locate a water pump that we could put in the current generator. As of right now, like I said, I literally got a phone call, I think it was yesterday. And it doesn't look good as far as, securing one. But again, we're going to continue to look for one. But in the meantime, this $9,300, that was for
Okay.
November.
That $9,300, Rick, is there any other costs associated with that? Is there added electrical, added fuel, added anything? Or
Nope,
is that $9,300 firm per month?
that's firm per month. Yep. So again, it depends on how long we want to keep, in my opinion, waste money.
Okay, now let's bring me to the other generator in the digester.
Before we move on, I have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Didn't we have to pay to rewire the generator onto the rented one? And then when we get another generator, we pay for that to go back?
Yes, I haven't actually, Robin, I haven't even received the invoice from Andy, electrician, but that's now I'm going to say roughly $2,000 for that. I don't, he's in Florida right now for the next month, so he hasn't sent me any invoices. But you are correct. There will be another cost once we dismantle this one and eventually put another one in.
Okay, what about the generator now that's going on in the digester?
Okay, so we'll jump over to that boiler. That falls under the boiler status piping update. So I had talked to Wilkinson. They stopped in early in the week. They had a couple of guys in yesterday, and from what I was told on Tuesday, Wilkinson will be in on the 28th, the Monday after the holiday. to resume operations of the digester boiler. I also received an email from Hallam Inc. They said to me that they should have the initial drawings next week. Again, it is Thanksgiving week, for review. So once we get those, we'll review those, and once we, probably, I don't know who we'll hand those off to, Chuck, one of the other engineers, or, well, they are an engineering company. Then we at that point, we should probably think about putting it out to bid.
It's gonna have to go out to bid, but what I want to do is, Robin, if we get any more invoices from Wilkerson to Hallam, I'd like to know. I want to hold them until we see some action on them.
All right, because I think I might have paid some already this week, but I have a question. So Hallam will have initial drawings for review. Are we talking about the gas piping?
Correct,
Yes.
correct. Sorry, I should have noted that.
All right, if you could drop them a quick email, tell them you mentioned that to the board at tonight's meeting, and we're holding them to that date.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see, the last item, the big item, markouts. Like I've spoken before, we've had a crazy amount of markouts this year, or actually this month. I mean, this month alone for October, and I did speak to David Taylor, and he said they should start to slow down now. It was almost like the last run with these markouts. Everybody and their uncle was sending them. For the month of October, we actually received 95 markouts.
What is the norm? Ballpark.
I would say maybe 3 or 4 day tops, something like that.
Now, what do you attribute that high number to? Is that because of the seasonal, the frost coming and they can't get in the ground?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's the utilities company, Chuck. I mean, this week alone, we had, it's a lot. We had 15 from the National Grid, from the electric company, replacing poles. We had 6 from homeowners.
Let's stop right there for a minute. Again, I'm not questioning you. I'm questioning myself out loud. Now, if we're replacing a pole, why do we need a markout? I mean, you're taking a pole out of one spot, the pole's
Right.
there, and we're plugging it in.
Right, and they just want to make sure that I know what you're saying. They want to make sure there's no sewer, but you're right. If they're putting it in the same hole, you're absolutely right. But again, we get these markouts, dig safes, and it says, sewer will go out, water will go out, and all the utilities in town go out, and we mark it out. But yeah, it's been a major run on these things right now. But hopefully, from talking to David, they should start to diminish. Then we had, I think, 2 or maybe 1 this week for emergency, and that was for 2 water main breaks in town. Those you're not going to stop. Those, we get those all year long. I mean, especially.
Can I ask you a favor? Can you keep tracking the number of markouts? And what I want to know is the amount of hours that it's sucking up on.
Yep, we do.
Okay, you can give me that.
Can I mention, I know you're probably aware of it, but hopefully those hours will get reduced once you guys have the iPad with the GIS on it. You won't have to do so much copying in the office. Can have it right with you.
Yep. Yep. And like I said, we do have, I still owe you an invoice, a couple invoices on that, Robin, for not only for markouts, but it's markouts. What else? The grease inspections, some emergency. Gary was actually working this past week on Moncrief Road. They're raising the structures over there. So again, I sent Gary over there for about 5 hours, maybe one day, 5 or 6 hours, only because, again, there's really no superintendent, and I think it's a good idea to have some eyes when you got contractors over there working.
No, I'm not going to begrudge you that.
We also had another call from that executive house. They had a problem, and I think Gary had to spend some time out there because someone in that building is putting wipes into the system, and it was clogged at the manhole. And so Gary had to be out there to make sure once they jetted it, that they didn't migrate the problem into the sewer system. So all those things take time as well.
They do. So I do have, I have a, very good logbook on that, and eventually you'll be seeing that.
Okay.
And with that, I think that's all I have.
Well, there's no public here tonight. For that. Rick, again, I want to thank you for all you've done. You too, Robin. I mean, you've done a great job of keeping this thing together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna have a mid-working session, Dan, the 28th, let's say the 28th, the 29th. 28th. No, 29th. That'll be at 1 o'clock. In the interim of that, I'll get down with you, Rick and Robin. We can talk about that IPP. Okay, with that, I'll take a motion to end tonight's meeting.
Make the motion.
I will second that. All in favor, Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
Mr. Hessian's a yes. Robin, Rick, thank you very much.
Yep.
Dan, like I said, I'll get that down there tomorrow morning to sign. If Sherry can get down there to sign it, great. If not, I'll touch base with her, get it Monday, and Robin, I'll have that sent into Veolia, and you'll get a complete copy of that for the submittal.
All right, thank you so much.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
thanks for that.
Yep.
Good night. Have a good one. Rick,
Yep.
thank you very much for everything. Don't
Thank-
stay
Yep.
away from any firearms.
All right, thank you.
Have a
Have a
good
good-
turkey day.
Yep.
See you later.